Hello everyone, it's Karen and welcome to another video. Today we're going to do something a bit different here. Now I previously did this video about good 4 years ago now, but it wasn't really well shot because I had shot it one-handed when I was trying to show off the items. So I'm going to reshoot the video properly, and given that I've probably acquired a lot of new subscribers since that video was made, I'm going to redo another video. Now today we're going to do a video where I'll show all the tour programs I've acquired over the years. These acquire of tours from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even a couple from some of the recent years, from various different places. Now when I've been to concerts, I've never bought programs, primarily because it's too expensive, and I've always usually tended to buy a t-shirt at these concerts because, you know, I can wear them and show them, oh, I went and saw this tour, and I think most people kind of do that now, these days. But anyway, these are all the programs I've acquired from various years, so yeah, from various different places. So I'm just going to show you them all one by one. Here's the first one. This is a Wings, Paul McCartney and Wings 1979 UK tour programme. This tour is from the Back to the Egg kind of era. This was like the last time that Wings played live, was this tour. Of course, as we all know, they were meant to be doing a tour of Japan in the following year, 1980, which of course had to be cancelled because of Paul McCartney's drug bust in Tokyo. So, yeah. But anyway, that's a tour date starting in Liverpool in the November, and they went round the country into Glasgow at the end of the tour, so in the December. So yeah, and there's the band there. By this time, Wings had acquired a new lineup. They had Steve Hawley and Lawrence Juber, as well as Paul, Linda, and Denny Laine. So let's just go through them all. Various pictures in here. That's the same picture as the one that's on the front cover there. Tells you about each member and who they are. So there's the two new guys, obviously Steve Hawley and Lawrence Juber. And there's of course Paul McCartney, there's Linda, Paul's wife, and Denny Laine. And there's all the albums that they had out that were available at the time, from Paul's first solo album, McCartney, through to the Ram album, and then of course the Wings catalogue, and then the wonderful Christmas Time single, which had just come out at the time. And that's all the crew people, so the people who helped probably put this tour together. Now I found this programme in a Paisley record shop, and it was only 50p, primarily for the reason because it was a bit beat up, a bit tatty, but still really nice to have as a little momentum from the time. Okay, now most of these tour programmes actually come from my mother and father's collections of concerts they went to. So this next batch of programmes I'm going to show you are from that. Here's the first one. This is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And this one's from the 1981 UK tour for the River album. This was the one that, actually my dad was at this very show in Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Playhouse, so this is quite a cool one though to have. That's a great inside cover photo. Picture of Bruce there. There's each band member. So we've got Bruce there, and we have Gary Tallent on the bass, Max Weinberg on drums, Roy Bittan on piano, Clarence Clemens on saxophone, Danny Federici on the organ, and Steve Van Zandt on guitar. And each band member gets a page and there's a photograph of each member. So there's the big man, there's Clarence. There's all sorts of various photos there. There's Steve Van Zandt. That's a kind of picture of Bruce that kind of, you could just turn it over like that and you get that photo. There's Gary Tallent. Danny Federici. Roy Bittan. Max Weinberg. and yeah, various other photographs. That's the touring crew there, and there's various pictures there. And there's the tour credits. So the crew there, and there's all the albums that were available at the time. So as I said, this kind of was the tour for the album For the River. So it goes up to the advertisement catalogue here goes up to the River album, which had just come out at the time. Here, back cover. So that's a really nice one. That one. That was from 1981. And this one I think from around about the same time, 1981. This was also my dad's. He saw this one at the Glasgow Apollo. Whitesnake, Come and Get It. And I've been to see Bruce twice. On a little side note, I've been to see Bruce Springsteen twice. Saw him at Hampden Park and I saw him at Murrayfield Stadium. Whitesnake I saw at the Hydro in 2022. It was a good show, but by that point David Coverdale's voice had kind of passed its best, and it wasn't really at the peak voice of like the late 80s that he had. I think I've since learned after that show in recent years that his voice has not been particularly great, and there's been times where he's been pretty brutal to say the least. So anyway, there's the inside, and there's all the band names and touring crew. So this was around about the time of the Come and Get It album, but that's a photograph from the Live at the Heart of the City album. So anyway, this is the band at the time. This is David Coverdale, lead vocalist. John Lord on keyboards. Bernie Marsden on guitar. Mickey Moody on guitar. Neil Murray on the bass. Ian Pace on drums. There's various photographs inside there. It's a little note from Ray Coleman of the Melody Maker. And that's there's the Come and Get It album. An advertisement for the Gibson guitar, and there's a photograph of Bernie Marsden with a Gibson guitar. Excuse me. And of course Bernie's solo album as well, which I think it was out at that time as well. And that's Mickey Moody there with the Washburn guitar. And that's I think that's probably an advertisement for whiskey in here. Rather unusual, but anyway. And there's where they toured. So they started the tour in Aachen, in Europe, in April of 81, and then they continued on to Hammersmith until the June of 81. And there's the Glasgow dates. And my dad was either at one of those two shows in Glasgow. So quite nice that they included that little bit there. Little setup of where all the stage, of where kind of each position of the band member on stage and all their sound, somewhat equipment and whatnot. And there's a little memoriam there for John Lennon of the Beatles. Of course, John Lennon had been shot in the December of 1980, a few months before this this tour. And I think probably Whitesnake were probably fans of the Beatles and John Lennon, so they put on this little memoriam thing for John, which I think is quite a nice little thing that they put there. Says John Lennon 1940 to 1980, thanks for everything. And then we get another band that I've seen live, and that's Foreigner. And this one is from the 4 tour, and my dad saw this one in Birmingham. So it's quite a nice one there. This of course is in support for the 4 album, which is one of my favourite, which is probably my favourite Foreigner album, I would say. Anyways, there's this inside one. There's Mick Jones on guitar. Rick Wills on bass. But this time Foreigner were now down to a 4-piece, which is why the album was called 4, because it was their 4th album, and also now the fact that they're down to four guys in the band. Dennis Elliott on drums. And there's a nice picture of inside with the inflatable jukebox, because there's a song on Foreigner 4 called Jukebox Hero, and that's probably during the song Jukebox Hero. So this is from '82, this program. And there's Lou Gramm, lead singer. Of course, one of the greatest rock vocalists in my opinion there. And when I saw Foreigner, none of these guys were with the band. It was a now different lineup of people like Kelly Hansen and some other guys I can't really remember names. But Mick Jones did come out for the encore and played in the last few songs, so I got to see Mick there. But Mick's not really involved much with Foreigner, I think because of ill health. But he's kind of really the only remaining member of the original classic lineup is Mick. In some capacity or another. But still, Foreigner was a great show when I saw them in the Hydro with Whitesnake. And another person I've seen at the Hydro was Elton John. And this is from his, I think it's 1982 UK tour. My dad saw this one at the Glasgow Apollo, and quite a funny cover, this one, where he's got an outfit of kind of fruits. You can see like there's what look like grapes, there's apples, a pineapple. So yeah, that's quite an interesting outfit there. There is the back one. So anyway, this the inside, and that's him in a kind of royal, what looks like a royal outfit there. He's doing a handstand on the piano in that bottom photo. A little blurb there from Bernie Taupin, who's been, of course, Elton's co-writer for many years. Well, Bernie kind of writes the lyrics, and Elton kind of does the music to the songs, and that's how it kind of works. And that's a little kind of blurb there from Gary Osborne, who Elton, I think, was writing with at this point. He was kind of still writing with Bernie, but he was also writing with Gary Osborne as well for a period in the kind of late 70s, early 80s. And there's a little blurb there from Tim Rice as well. And that's Elton. There's Elton's band, as well as people he's writing with Davy Johnston on guitar, Nigel Olsson on drums, and Dee Murray on the bass, who of course had been with Elton in the 70s as well. When I saw him on the Farewell Tour 2023, he still had Davy Johnston and Nigel Olsson, but sadly Dee passed away, but he now had a different bass player as well. His lineups have, as a lot of bands have changed over the years. So this was, I think, remember at the time of the Jump Up album. As you can see there, there's all the Rocket albums of like Blue Moves, Single Man, Victim of Love, 21 at 33, The Fox, and Jump Up. And that's the prices for each of the merchandise. I mean, how did things get so expensive now? I really have no idea. I mean, you can get a t-shirt for £4, which is probably nothing now, and you can get metal badges for £1, scarves for £3.50, baseball caps for £3.50, which nowadays will probably seem like nothing, but how did our merch of nowadays get so expensive? I really don't know. And there's a little advertising there for Marlboro cigarettes. Not sure there, but anyways, that's a nice one. Here's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers next, and this is from the 1982 Long After Dark European tour. My dad saw this one at Edinburgh Playhouse, which I've just recently got a recording of on vinyl, which they recently released, and I'm going to do a video on that soon, so yeah. Anyways, there's a nice front cover photo with Tom there. There's the back. This one's quite a small, this is not kind of long, this is quite kind of rectangular size, so it's some different tees, but anyway. There's a picture of Tom there. One of the greats and so missed today. This is from 1982, this one, as I said. And my dad saw this one at Edinburgh Playhouse, as I stated. Some nice photographs there. And there's Phil Jones down there, who was their percussionist on some of their albums and tours. Tom Petty, Heartbreakers. And each member gets a page. So there's Mike Campbell on guitar, Benmont Tench on the keyboards, Stan Lynch on drums, great drummer, And of course this was their first tour with Howie Epstein on bass. And Howie would be with Tom and the band for 20 years. Crew members and all the tour places, and it has all the albums of the time there, so as I say, it goes up to Long After Dark, except the tour that this was accompanying. There's all the places down there. Started in Paris and then went to Nuremberg, and then went through Paris and then through the UK to Nuremberg. Crew names there. And the back, good. This is quite a good one there to have, a little piece of the time. Now I've got 2 copies of this next programme, and the reason was because both my mother and my father were at this tour long before they knew each other, and it's for the 1985 Born in the USA tour, which was one of Bruce's biggest tours to that point. This one's a bit this one is this one I think is in a bit better condition, so I'll probably show this one. They're both identical, but anyway, here's this one, quite a bigger and thicker one, unlike compared to some of the other programs I've just shown. When you get this kind of fold out thing there, we're like that picture of Bruce with the guitar there leaping in there. And this was quite a good one because this one goes through his whole life and career up to that point in like a timeline. So it starts of course from when Bruce was born, September 1949, and to when he saw Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show, and when his first bands, as well, and big successes as well, and any significant concerts or shows that happened. So basically goes through his whole career up to that point. And when all the albums came out and whatnot, and like personnel changes, like band lineup changes as well. And even talks about some of the E Street Band's other side projects, like the Gary O.S. Bonds albums, and even Steve Van Zant's solo album as well, which is quite a little interesting thing there. So it goes up from like September 1949 up to June 1984 when the tour started. There's the Cadillac Ranch, which of course is a song from the River album, one of my favourite Bruce songs from that album. Okay, and he's still got the same E Street Band lineup at this time, but he's changed it on as we go on. But what I like about it is that it talks about each band member, their date of birth, when they were from, what instruments they played, when they first joined Bruce, other experiences as well, favourite colours and favourite foods, and what ambitions they have. And of course the tour had 2 new lineups. We had Nils Lofgren on guitar, who was of course who of course played Neil Young, and Patsy Scalfia, like joined Bruce on this tour. And of course Patsy now has since married Bruce in the intervening years, but this was her first tour with Bruce and the E Street Band. And there's Bruce himself there. The other guys. There's various photographs. There's the USA flag. And all the people behind the tour. Quite interesting in there. So yeah, they both saw this show at the Newcastle St James's Park, and this was another thing that they had out at the same time. This is Bruce Springsteen's Summer Tour '85. I don't believe this is officially sanctioned by Bruce's management, but this was just something that was brought out on the tour, on the show. So see that you got the programme and you got this. So on the back it has all the tour dates though. So it's like Slane Castle, Ireland, St James's Park, Newcastle, and then Wembley Stadium and Roundhouse Park in Leeds. So he played Europe in between the UK and Irish dates. So, yeah. But anyway, this one goes through his whole life. Again, it goes through his career and story and various photographs as well. And here there's all his albums. So again, goes from the first one up to Born in the USA. He even has other side projects whether his songs have been covered by other people, and he's also provided material for people like Southside Johnny and the Asbury Dukes and Gary U.S. Bonds, as we stated earlier, and even it mentions there Clarence Clements and the Red Bank Rockers. A little interview from Bruce there as well. And this little some concert review there down there, and that's a little talks about the concert in Wembley Arena in May 1981. And there's that one. So that's quite a nice little thing to have, even if it's not officially sanctioned by the Springsteen management. This is still quite a cool thing to have. And this is the last of my mum and dad's programme collections. The other two I've bought myself from other places. This is Bruce Springsteen, the 1992 to 93 World Tour. So this one is like the Human Touch and Lucky Town albums that both came out at the same time. And my dad saw this one at the SCCC in Glasgow, the old SCCC venue in Glasgow. And what he remembered and what he's told me is that the sound in that show was very poor. But then again, the SCCC was a venue that was quite notorious for poor sound quality. But one of the songs, which was Lucky Town, was actually from this show, was broadcast on Top of the Pops, and the sound quality was a lot better on that, because I think they'd taken the sound from the mixing desk that night for that broadcast. But at the actual show, the sound was not very good. So this is from the 93 tour. And he had a new band this and this is what's quite cool is this one kind of folds out a bit. This kind of folds out, has different fold out pages. And he had a new band lineup at the time because he kind of put the E Street Band on hold for a bit and kind of had a new band. So he had Cleopatra Kennedy on vocals, GSC and Botti on vocals, Carol Dennis on backing vocals, Shane Fontaine on guitar, Zach Alfer on drums, Tommy Sims on bass, Bobby King on backing vocals, Angel Rogers on backing vocals, and Crystal Taliaferro on guitar and vocals. And the one member he kept from the E Street Band lineup was Roy Bittan. That's quite nice. It tells you about the band members and their previous music experiences. I'd like to get a bit closer, but it's a bit kind of hard to do so. So I'll do it bit by bit. There we are, there's that one. And there's some little song lyrics to some of the songs in the albums. That's pictures from the shooting of the Better Days video. And there's all the crew names, and so basically it's quite nice to see who's done who and the people who've kind of helped with the tour and take part in it as well. Okay, that's a nice one. That's the last of my mum and dad's tour programs. And the next tour I bought myself from recent years. Here's Paul McCartney, the 2004 Summer European Tour, and I found this in the Beatles store in Matthew Street in Liverpool when I was there back in 2019. I found this one, so yeah, quite a nice one to have. There's a nice picture of Paul's guitar there, little blurb there from Paul McCartney, from Paul there, and there's all the tour dates as well. So he started the tour in Gijón in May and then went to Glastonbury. So this is when he headlined Glastonbury for the first time in June 2004, and he then headlined Glastonbury again on the night of my 21st, funnily enough, and I think I saw the broadcast a few days afterwards because I'd recorded it on my Skybox. And this little where all the pages are. But this time Paul had a new band. He had Paul Wickens on keyboards, who he'd had for many years, Rusty Anderson on guitar, Abe Labrador Jr. on drums, Brian Ray on guitar and bass guitar. And I saw Paul with this band when I saw him at the Hydro back in 2018. All Paul's equipment and what kind of guitars he plays. And it talks about each band member as well. And it talks about their 100th show with Paul, which was in Gothenburg on the 12th of June. Little pictures of summer souvenirs. So that's a nice picture of Paul and the Beatles in 1963. And various pictures of Paul from when he was young as well. And there's some pictures with his then wife Heather, which less said about her the better. There's Yamaha, who are the sponsors of this this tour. They like the piano. They make a lot of pianos. Significant shows. So from October 1957, when it was Paul's first time playing with the Quarrymen, who was of course John Lennon's band, goes through the Hamburg Cavern, the Royal Variety Show, Ed Sullivan, Shea Stadium, the Apple Rooftop, the Student Bar in Wings in Nottingham, where it's the first time playing with Wings, the Kingdom in Seattle with the Wings Over America tour, talked about the Kampuchea benefit in 1979, the Maracana Stadium in Rio in 1990, where he performed to a big stadium crowd, much like with Shea Stadium, the King's Dock in Liverpool in 1990, the Sant'Angelo Coliseum in 1993, the Cavern in 1999, Mexico in 2002, Rome in 2003, Moscow 2003. So it goes up from 57 up to 2003, and then it has a little bit there tonight, wherever you are, enjoying the long and winding trip through 300 performances that have led this to your door. I see what they did there. A little interview from Paul there as well. Little advertisement there for a book, On Stage, Off Stage and Backstage, which was going to be released in that September of 2004. Great doors. And he talks about Yesterday and the fact that it was written in Portugal. And the coincidental thing about this this tour was that the date in Lisbon fell on May 28th, 2004. 39 years before that, on the 27th of May 1965, Paul began to write the song Yesterday, and he kind of completed the song on that day. So yeah, it talks about the song and who covered it and whatnot. And it says, I'm told this tour Yesterday has not been played in Portugal by Paul McCartney. So kind of a coincidental thing. And there's a little thing there, for a little advertising thing for Paul's show in St. Petersburg on the 20th of June. Quite a nice little poster thing there. Macamix. a sonic collage from the mind of James Paul McCartney there. And then it talks about the tour DJ who has had Paul, who's often played on Paul McCartney's concerts before Paul McCartney's concerts start. And it says, welcome Paul to the lands of midnight sun. So Denmark, Sweden, Norway and Finland. Show people. It talks about the kind of little backdrops for the show and whatnot. And that's the cover of Egypt Station. So it's quite interesting to think that 14 years after this tour, that ended up as Paul's album cover for Egypt Station. And all the production crew as well. Nice little thing there. And the last one I have, this is one I bought from my local record shop in Saltcoats, and it's this Elvis Presley in concert. Of course, not the Elvis, but this was the tour that they would often do, if you remember, where they would have the footage of Elvis on a screen and Elvis's TCB band would play below him on the stage. I actually saw a tour like that with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra at the Hydro in 2023. So that's quite, so yeah, there's the tour dates on the back. So yeah, this is quite a cool one there. It's a nice picture of Elvis there. And of course you had the band of James Burton on guitar, Ronnie Todd on drums, and Glenn Hardin on piano, and even the Imperials and the Sweet Inspirations as well. And even Joe Grishaw's orchestra as well. So the TCB band were Elvis's band that had backed him in the late 60s, early 70s. Talks about Elvis in concert as well. And I've actually got a DVD of one of these concerts from Memphis in 2002. The first time that this kind of happened was on the 20th anniversary of Elvis's passing in 1997 in Memphis. It says there, long after I'm gone, what I did will be heard by someone, and I just want them to get the best of what I had. Elvis Presley. Pictures of Elvis in the 50s with his backup bands of Scotty Moore and Bill Black, and then later DJ Fontana, and then of course the Jordanaires would back him on like the recording sessions as well, and I think on some of the concerts as well sometimes. So a lot of nice pictures in that there. There's the TCB band. Talks about Joe Grishaw, his orchestra conductor. And J.D. Sumner and the Stamps Quartet. All the songs that are going to be played on the night, so it tells you from what footage that they've chosen the concert from, as well, and a bit of intermission as well. Before Elvis there was nothing. John Lennon. And that's a nice picture of Elvis there with like the cape, which I think that would be done at the end of Can't Help Falling in Love, and I think that's a 1972 picture. Nat 2 as well, so again, same thing. Pictures from the 68 comeback special. Except that one, that's a 70s shot, and that's Vegas 1969. Various pictures of Elvis in the 70s. On tour facts down there as well. Quote there from Elvis. And comments there from Mick Jagger and Bruce Springsteen. There's pictures from the Aloha from Hawaii show. Quotes from Paul McCartney, Elton John and Roger Daltrey. Of course, lead singer from The Who. And all the crew members as well. So there we are, that's it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Apologies if it was a long one, but at least I got that one done, and I'm glad I got that shot right. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I also have programs from tribute concerts I've been to, but I didn't want to include them because I felt like they wouldn't really count. So that's how I've kind of showing these ones, the ones I've acquired over the years. But anyways, hope you've all enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like or a comment, or you can subscribe. Just kind of felt like doing this video because I don't think that many people have done that, this video, kind of video as well. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next video.